Hello Booktube, my name is Elizabeth. Welcome to my channel, Bookends and Books. In today's video, I will do a tag. It's been a while since I did a tag. I don't remember if I did one this year. Maybe. I don't know. So this is the Booktube Numbers Tag. It was created by Jim at Jim's Books Reading and Stuff, and he kindly tagged me. So I will leave a link to his video in the description box below, of course. Question number 1. What was your first Booktube video? My first Booktube video, it's less than a year ago. It was in June of 2021, and it was a Booktube Prize Rankings video. I filmed a whole bunch of videos before posting one on YouTube, before finally starting my channel. And I decided to start with the Booktube Rankings video because it had a purpose, and I knew people would watch it. Booktube newbie tags, some people watch them, but not necessarily. And if I started with just a regular video, here's what I've read, I don't think anybody would have paid attention. So by starting with the Booktube Prize, I knew some people would watch my video, and I knew I would have content and relevant content. That's the other thing. I knew some people would be interested in it. So that was my first video. It has 170 views, which is quite a lot for my channel. I have, well, I don't know how many videos I have that have more than 100 views, but my average number of views is well under 100. It's more around 60 or 70. So to have more than 100 views for my first video, I think it's quite good. So that was my first video, and I haven't watched it, but I don't think I'd be ashamed of it. I think it wasn't that bad. I hope. Question number 2. How many books are you currently reading? According to Goodreads, there's one book. It would be this one. However, Goodreads is wrong. That is my problem because I feed it false information. I started reading this book in January, but I put it on hold. So it's just on the ice. It's on the back burner. I am not currently reading this. And I think I will pick it up again in March for March Mystery Madness. And at that point, I will start from the beginning because I don't remember it. So I am not reading this book. What I actually am reading are 2 books. The Doctor's Blackwell by Janice Nimura. Yes, Janice P. Nimura. It is about 2 women who became doctors in the 1850s in the United States. So the first women doctors in the United States. It's a book that is selected for the nonfiction division of the Booktube Prize. However, I'm not judging it, so I'm just reading this for fun. And the other book that I'm reading is Arabella by Georgette, and I think you can guess that this is a Regency romance. So these are the 2 books that I'm reading right now. Next question. What were the top 3 books you read last year? I didn't do a top 10 video books of 2021 video or a top 3, so I didn't really made a top 10 list or top 3 list. So what I did is that I went to my trusty notebook there, and I looked at the titles, and for the ones that jumped at me, and 3 that jumped at me were The Anger of Achilles by, it's a translation of the Iliad by Homer. The translation is by Robert Graves. I love that book. It was a revelation for me. I say this is my best book of 2021. So that one was number 1. And then a bit farther down at number 2 and number 3, I don't know which one would be number 2 or number 3 because they're very different. One of them would be A Death in the Rainforest by Kulick. I don't know why, but I really, really love that book. It is a book about an anthropologist who goes to study a language in Papua New Guinea. And this is some sort of travel memoir and anthropology a little bit. And it's just the sort of book that brings you to the other end of the world and plunges you in a completely different culture. And I really, really love that book. And the third one would be 77 Fragments of a Familiar Ruin by Thomas King. One evening, one day, I don't remember, I was feeling sort of blue, was feeling a little meh. So I decided to go to the bookstore to cheer myself up, and I found this. And I came back and I read it, and it worked wonderfully. I was super happy by the end. Not that it's a happy collection of poetry, it's just it was good. It spoke to me. So I really like this one. So that would be my number 3. Oh, and also it sort of awakened my interest in poetry. I want to read more poetry because this one worked so well. So that is a third book that I absolutely loved, that I read in 2021. Next question is, how many books did you read last year? According to Trusty Notebook, once again, it was 132 books. That is a record for me. I normally read more. Around, a bad year would be 50 books and a good one would be 75. So 130 was a lot, and it was because of Booktube and because of the pandemic. Question 5. How many books have you rated as 5 stars this year? I don't really do star ratings, but if we consider 5 stars as being something that stands out, that stands apart, I would say that there are 2 books that stand apart. One of them is a non-fiction. It is Pastoral Song by James Rebanks, and it is the memoir of a farmer. And he talks about how in the past 40 years, the industrialization of agriculture has really damaged the land and is not sustainable. So that is one. And the other one I read just last week, it would be Murambi, The Book of Bones by Boubacar Boris Diop. He is a Senegalese writer, and he was invited to Rwanda to write something about the genocide, the 1994 genocide in Rwanda. And this is what the book is about. It is short, it's about 200 pages, but it's extremely powerful. It's a wonderful book. Question number 6. Do you have a reading target for this year? Are you on track? I don't really set targets. I read when I want to read. If I read 50 books, I'm happy. If I read 130, I'm happy. And if I read 20, it's fine too. However, I think I've already read 20 books or close to it. So I don't think it's going to be a year of 25 books. Next question. How many pages long is the book you are reading right now? I don't know. Let us check. Bang. Sorry about that. Arabella is 381 pages for Arabella. And the Doctor's Blackwell are 320 pages if we include all the notes and if we include just the text, because sometimes in nonfiction that could be the more relevant number. It would be 268. Next question. How long are your videos? Okay, I looked on YouTube Studio for a number and I didn't find it. So if there's a number somewhere, I don't know exactly what it is. But I think my videos are around 20 minutes. Most of them are between 15 and 20 minutes. Some of them are a bit longer, some of them are shorter, but I think most of them are around 15 to 20 minutes. Do you have a favorite number? No, I don't. Last question. Do you have a book on your shelf with a number in the title or on the cover? Well, I showed you one. It was a 77 Fragments of a Familiar Ruin. And if we include price tags, I have a whole bunch of them because I don't remove the price tags. I think it's relevant information, or at least interesting information for my future self. So, so there's this one. And there's also this one, Seven Fallen Feathers by Tanya Talaga. It is a journalistic investigation about the death of 7 teenagers of indigenous origin. So 7 indigenous teenagers who died in mysterious circumstances in Thunder Bay and whose deaths were just not investigated at all. So it's another powerful read, not on an easy subject. And I have a whole bunch of others. I have The Three Musketeers, 20 Years After, 100 Years of Solitude, 1984, and yeah, there's a whole bunch of books with numbers in the title. I think it's a catchy way of creating a title, I think. And that was the last question. I even said last question. Okay, I have a great memory, as you can see. So now it's time to tag people. So I'm going to tag 3 people. I'm going to tag Jen at Remembered Reads because she talked in a recent video about 77 fragments of a familiar ruin. I'm going to tag Genius Tanya, and I'm going to tag Alice from Alice and the Giant Bookshelf. So that is it for me. Thank you everyone for watching. I will see you in the next video. À la prochaine!